Okay, what are your biggest achievements and why? Well, I have two main achievements which stick out to me right now. I would say the first one would be finishing university, um, because mainly I didn't like that degree, like I hated it and I was miserable doing that degree. I did an architecture degree, and whilst doing it, um, I realized it wasn't my passion. Like my whole life, I thought I wanted to be an architect, so I didn't really like pursue anything else. I didn't like try anything else. Um, so like when it came to apply to uni and stuff, I just put architecture for all my five choices, and yeah, I just figured, oh, I'll be an architect. I'm good at maths. I'm good at drawing. Yeah, it makes sense to be an architect. Turns out there's not that much maths in architecture, but anyway. Um, yeah, I thought I would really like it. But like when I got there, I did like first year, but second year, that's when things started to go a bit downhill. Like it was okay, but I managed. I did a year in industry, and that's when I realized like, no, I can't do this. Because I couldn't see myself working in an architecture firm 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. It just wasn't for me. I wasn't passionate enough about it. And for me, like, or in my opinion, the field in particular, it's really a field where you have to have a passion for what you're doing because the workload is just too much for you to. If you don't like what you're doing, you're just going to be miserable. So um, for me, the decision to like finish that degree, that was probably a big achievement for me. And like getting a 2:1, I still got a decent degree out of it. I didn't want to just like drop out of uni and like waste all the time I spent in uni. So yeah, I would say that's one of my biggest achievements. And my second biggest achievement is probably um, getting the job which I have now, because for like after I graduated, obviously I didn't know what to do because I just knew I didn't want to do architecture, but I didn't know what to do. And then so for about a year, I was just like, I wasn't really doing much. I was just taking like temp jobs here and there, and I worked at Hobbycraft for a while, which is a retail store, um, and I was just kind of trying to figure out. But then I had like a mindset change around this summer just gone, and I really decided like, no, I need to find a career. And then I went out and yeah, I found a job which I like, which is good. I enjoy it. I don't dread going to work every day or anything. Um, I'm learning a lot, and this is actually like a career I can feel myself doing well in. And okay, have you had any setbacks and why? I would say yes, definitely. Had a lot of setbacks. Um, First one in university, oh well, twice even. I failed in sixth form, so I had to redo a year, and I failed in university, um, and that's when I did my year in industry as well because I only had one module to do, and so I failed one module. So I thought, oh, with all my spare time, I'm going to do a year in industry. So you could see it as a blessing in a way, but I'm not even sure if I'm not even sure if my parents know I failed, but uh, yeah, I failed that year. I hope they didn't see this, but anyway, um, yeah, that was the failing twice was the biggest setbacks, and obviously after you fail, you feel discouraged and stuff. I had issues with God as well because I was kind of angry at Him that I failed, but most of the time, like a lot of the things we don't excel at is because we didn't work hard for ourselves. And I know that's one thing which I realized definitely is that I was lazy, like full stop. There was nothing more to it. As soon as I started taking responsibility for my actions and for like taking responsibility for my life, um, that's when things really started changing for me. And I used to like blame it on bad habits I used to have or like having too many distractions. But nah, it's just everything in your life is about choices, you know. And like I chose to watch films all day, or I chose not to go to lectures, or I chose not to revise. Although I could say like, oh, the laptop is a distraction, or my phone is a distraction. I'm choosing to go on the laptop. I'm choosing to go on the phone, and that's one thing which was a big lesson for me, that um, everything is down to a choice, and it's your choice. Have you felt pressure from family, society in achieving and becoming who you are now? I definitely have felt pressure, especially like as I've spoken about my degree already. Um, I felt pressure to do it in a sense, and that was mainly from my dad. But at the same time, like I don't blame him. Like in a sense, like I'm not saying he forced me. I was like, Kniel, go do this degree. But then sometimes pressure can be indirect, and so really, like it all stems back to one day where I was drawing, and my dad said, "Hey, you'd make a good architect." And then so I guess like I just kind of, from wanting to like impress my dad or like be like, yeah, like this is what my dad said about me, I'd make a good architect and stuff. So that's what was kind of in my head. So it's not his fault. Like he didn't force me to do architecture. I wanted to do it, but because I wanted to please him so much in a sense, that's why I chose to do it without like looking at other options. And so I would say that was an indirect pressure, but that was more pressure from myself as well, rather than from actually my dad. Um, but also, like, especially when I stopped wanting to do it. Like, I remember in uni, or like when I tell people I'm doing architecture, they'll be like, "Wow, oh, that's such a nice degree. Wow, you're gonna make so much. Oh, when are you gonna make our house in Africa? Blah 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 blah." And then, like, I'm not gonna lie, it was a nice feeling, like having that. Like, whenever I tell people, "Yeah, I do architecture," and then people be like, "Yeah," it was a nice feeling. But then when I decided I didn't want to do it, um, especially telling like some of the aunties and uncles which I know, they'll ask, "Oh, so what you do in your life?" And I'll be like, "Oh, um, well, this one I was working in retail. I was like, I don't really know. I'm kind of just working in hobbycraft at the moment." And they'll be like, "Oh, what happened to architecture?" And then I'll be like, "I don't want to do it anymore." They'll be like, "Oh, why? It's such a good field. You should just do it. Just do it." But, and then I'll tell them, "Oh, I'm not happy in it. Like I'm miserable." It's like, "No, just do it. It's fine. Just do it." And then, like even now that I've got my new job, which I like, I tell people it's like, "Oh, I do IT now," and they're like, "Oh, oh, well, it's still good." And I'm just like, yeah, I don't get that same reaction, but like it's nice knowing where I'm going for once in my life, and that's one thing I would say. Like you can't do things for people's approval because you won't be happy in the end. Like imagine if I just like listened to all the aunties and uncles, maybe I would have a job, maybe I would be making loads of money, but I would be miserable, like completely miserable. And in all honesty, like this may not sound like good or, but really like they don't care that much. Like whether I make a lot of money or not, they're not the ones seeing my paycheck at the end of the day. They're not the one going to work at 9 and doing overtime till 7 just to get like the building done or whatever. Like it's something that you have to decide for yourself. And even if like you do get backlash from people and they're saying, "Oh, you should have done this, you should have done that," people will always talk about anything. Like whatever you do, people will talk about it. Um, So it's better to just do what you feel is best for yourself, and you have to go on a journey and like find find yourself in a sense, and find what you want to do, and you need to just pursue it with your whole being, and you need to work hard, and that's like especially from people who don't like come from money or anything like. Um, you just need to work hard. Like you have no other choice, and yeah, I think that's all I got to say. But yeah, the pressure from society and my family, like it has been immense. Also, it has been like sometimes there's indirect pressure as well from friends. Like if you have friends who are doing well, and like sometimes people say, "Oh, look at your friend, they're doing so well, and look at you, you're working at hobbycraft," and it's like it's pressure. Like it's pressure. It's not nice hearing that. It's not nice. But again, like you have to be convinced in yourself, convinced in your own mind that what you're doing is the right path.